Good evening and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. President Muhammadu Buhari has described underdevelopment in human projects as the genesis of the prevailing insecurity and socio-economic challenges bedeviling the global community. The Nigerian leader therefore challenged world leaders and potential investors to prioritize inclusive and humane policies as critical pathways towards re-energizing the global economy in a post-COVID-19 era. This was at the 5th edition of the Future Investment Summit in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the report.
Investing in humanity is investing in our collective survival.
Giving Nigeria's perspective to investing in humanity, President Muhammadu Buhari was emphatic that humane approach to investments is the surest way towards addressing global challenges, especially in the COVID-19 era. He commended the organizers of the Future Investment Summit for the foresight to look at investment not only from the wealth creation point of view, but also bringing prosperity to humanity.
This is why we in Nigeria, we believe that public and private partnership should focus on increasing investments in health, education, capacity building, youth empowerment, gender equality, poverty eradication, climate change, and food security. We are quick to realize that long-term peace and stability of our country is dependent on having inclusive and humane policies.
The president is, however, reminding participants that without relieving debtor countries from the crushing effects of the debt burden, the objectives of getting the desired investment in humanity cannot be realized. These nations, he said, increasingly allocate substantial resources towards external debt servicing and repayment at the expense of services that contribute to the overall well-being of their population.
Nigeria is Africa's largest economy and most populous nation. Our economic reforms, which focus on humane investments, are ideal for investors looking to have profitable returns while positively impacting the citizenry. Infrastructure investment represents significant potential for investors in Nigeria. We have opportunities in seaports, rail, toll roads, real estate, renewable energy, and many others. We have created several institutions that are available to co-invest with you in Nigeria.
President Buhari used the opportunity to showcase Nigeria and her enormous potentials in critical economic sectors, especially in agriculture, mining, and ICT.
As we strive to build resilience towards a sustainable economy in our various countries, let us not forget the negative impact of climate change on our efforts to achieve this goal. Nigeria and many other countries in Africa are already facing the challenges posed by climate change. I hope and pray that this forum will rise to the challenge in the interest of durable peace and sustainable development.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, apart from humane approach to investment, the global community must also sustain efforts at combating the COVID-19 pandemic, mitigating its negative socio-economic impact on societies, building resilience, as well as achieving recovery. He suggested leveraging the enormous economic opportunities that lie ahead towards satisfying the needs of humanity and indeed the planet. From Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari, before departing Nigeria for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, unveiled Africa's first central bank digital currency, the e-Naira, a platform designed to deepen financial inclusion and simplify transactions in its complementary role to the paper notes. The president said benefits of the e-Naira cuts across sectors and concerns of the Nigerian economy. Leah Katumba Batunde completes the story.
Applause as Nigeria sets foot into the sands of history with the offering of the central bank's digital currency, CBDC. China took the first step. Bahamas and Cambodia have also issued digital currencies. The journey of the e-Naira began in 2017, and the blockchain technology grew rapidly after coronavirus fueled lockdowns and shut-ins globally. These technological advancement is expected to increase Nigeria's GDP by $29 billion in the next 10 years. President Muhammadu Buhari sees the e-Naira making monetary policy more effective and enabling government to send direct welfare packages to eligible citizens, as transactions can be carried out without the internet using the USSD.
This move was underpinned by the fact that the CBN has been a leading innovator in the form of money they produce and in the payment services they deploy for efficient transactions. They have invested heavily in creating a payment system that is ranked in the top 10 in the world and certainly the best in Africa.
Hyperinflation and strain on the nation's foreign reserves are economic concerns the president is also of the view the e-Naira will address. There's been an overwhelming interest in the e-Naira since its announcement, and the central bank notes that 33 banks are fully integrated and live on the platform. 500 million naira has been successfully minted by the bank. 200 million naira has been issued to financial institutions. Over 2,000 customers have been onboarded, and over 120 merchants have successfully registered on the e-Naira platform as at Monday morning.
There are so many other projects, about 3-4 more projects that are on our table, and I assure Nigerians that we will deliver those projects. We usually embark on these projects not because we want to embark on them, but it is because we believe that in delivering on our own core mandate of price and monetary stability, that achieving or working on those projects directly impact on our results.
The project is expected to, among other things, support a resilient payment system ecosystem, encourage rapid financial inclusion, reduce cost of processing cash, enable direct and transparent welfare interventions to citizens, increase revenue and tax collection, facilitate diaspora remittances, reduce the cost of financial transactions, as well as improve the efficiency of payments. In Abuja, Leah Katung Babatunde, NTA News.
In related developments, the long-awaited e-Naira, also known as digital currency, was launched a little over 24 hours ago by President Muhammadu Buhari. This has, however, created lots of reactions from Nigerians. Let's join Bosede Abel for the responses.
Nigeria has now set a standard for Africa in its financial system, being the first to launch a digital currency. Now operational, what are the prospects for the nation's payment system and the people?
I think it's highly commendable. As a country, we should take pride in that particular feat. It's a big one for us as a country, which is in line with global trends. And I'm also excited with the numbers we're hearing. It's going to grow the economy expectedly over the next 10 years by $29 billion, which is huge.
Personally, I think it's a very good policy. But the thing from the feelings we are getting, many people don't know much about it. So there is still room to engage people, to get to know, so that they will participate actively.
And again, so that we're not creating a product for very few people in the society. We're creating a product that will run across, because we have quite a number of people at the bottom of the pyramid who needs to be included.
Experts say the digital currency system would improve cross-border trade, enhance monetary policy, as well as the local and diaspora payments, among others, will take desired shape. Bosede Abel, NTA News.
The e-Naira will serve as an alternative to the cash Naira and facilitate seamless transactions while reducing pressure on the Naira. The Central Bank of Nigeria provided this explanation on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, which discussed the CBN's digital currency, the e-Naira. Ekemini Williams reports that financial analysts on the program, however, urged the CBN to intensify public enlightenment on the e-Naira.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday launched the e-Naira, Nigeria's first digital currency anchored on blockchain technology, and which the CBN says can increase Nigeria's GDP by $29 billion over the next 10 years. The CBN and financial analysts acknowledged the many opportunities in onboarding the e-Naira, including greater financial inclusion and transparency.
It has the same value with the current Naira we have. It is serves the same value as the currency Naira we have. It's a store of value, it's a unit of accounts, a means of exchange or transaction. So it has those qualities, but it's not an asset that you can trade in.
It's principally a trade issue. It would, of course, enable that linkage between the e-Naira and the African payment system that is also being in prospect now.
If we are really going to get value for this digital currency, maybe from day one we should have targeted the unbanked Nigerians. When you are starting from day one with those of us that already have a bank account, where is the value?
E-Naira is a liability. We know it's a liability of the central bank. Yeah. Okay, so when banks now convert, if I convert my cash to e-Naira, the bank no longer has that account to be able to give out as loans.
There was consensus on the need for massive sensitization of the public, especially the informal sector, on the e-Naira initiative. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Away from the e-Naira, the House of Representatives is set to amend the Privatization and Commercialization Act of 1999, which was meant to make effective public-owned enterprises. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that Minister of Works and Housing, alongside other stakeholders at the public hearing, wants the committee to ensure that all loopholes are addressed to avoid past experiences in the transfer of public assets to private hands.
The House of Representatives Committee on Privatization and Commercialization says this attempt at tinkering with the Act of 1999 is targeted at bridging deficit to the tune of $1.3 million.
At a time when our country is struggling with significant revenue challenges, it is of utmost importance for us to think critically and act decisively to ensure that we have in place a legal framework for privatization and public-private partnerships that allow us to collaborate with the private sector to meet our national public infrastructure demands
and expand the scope and mode of privatization and commercialization to include specifically privatization, commercialization, private-public partnerships, concessions, public offers, and others.
As the Parliament goes about the reform exercise, Minister of Works and Housing says pertinent questions on the success or otherwise of previous privatization and commercialization ought to be answered.
Of all the assets that we have disposed and the reasons for disposing them, or for commercializing them, or for privatizing them, have we achieved the objective that we set out to achieve?
He called for forensic audit of all privatized assets of government, while the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) described past sale of public assets as a tale of woes. The amendment bill titled Public Assets Reform Bill 2021 seeks an improvement in the management of public assets. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority has again received a pat on the back from the House of Representatives for judicious management of resources, as evident in its budget performance for 2021. It was at an appearance before the House Committee on Information and Budget Appraisal and Projection. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali again reports.
As the Farmers Public Television Broadcast Media for Nigeria, the committee says NTA has been efficient in service delivery.
DG NTA, good presentation. I also want to congratulate you on your budget performance 2021. Because if we look at it very well, you perform all round. NTA has the best hands in this country. And I can tell you that almost all the stations, almost all the television centers in this country, most of their staffs are from NTA.
The chairman of the committee, Segun Odebumi, used the opportunity to urge government-owned information dissemination outfits to do more on youth development.
If you consider what is really going on in the country right now, every agency needs to contribute a lot in developing our youth, especially this life after this COVID. Things are very difficult for people.
The Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, appreciated the effort of the committee in its passion for adequate funding, stressing that this would enhance the digitization process.
We have competition among other issues. The competition, for example, not every part of NTA is digitized, So, for example, you have a digital camera, you go out with a digital camera. You bring in pictures using a digital camera. Then in the process of transmission, you transmit using analog equipment. So at the end of the day, the pictures are not as bad as they should be.
Other organizations, as the Budget's Defense, also highlighted challenges in their operations due to paucity of funds.
We are facing the same challenges of equipment being viewed as government-owned media houses that that we are expected to give free coverage despite some of the costs that we have to bear.
If our agency is well funded and we are able to live up to the expectation, we will create more jobs.
We have 813 offices around the country. We cannot even say that any of our state offices receives as minimum as 10,000 naira a month.
The committee will soon go on oversight for physical and other assessments of the various agencies. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Time now to go over to our Lagos Network Center, where Kehinde is standing by with the next set of reports on Nationwide. Good evening, Kehinde. It's over to you.
Ayodeji, glad to have you join us in Lagos. The Ekiti State Governor, Kayode Fayemi, has disclosed that one of his administration's goals is to be a part of Lagos State's 5 billion naira daily food market. He stated this during the inauguration of the Ekiti Governor's Lodge and Liaison Office, Ikeja. Imole Ayode, Imole Ayo, Tokide, Ogunfowora has details.
The glory of God, benefit of mankind, commission is edifice.
This building is one of the legacy projects of the Governor Kayode Fayemi administration of Ekiti State. The edifice, located at number 81A, Oduduwa Crescent, Ikeja GRA, is equipped with state-of-the-art facilities which would cater for the accommodation needs of the governor and state officials who would be on assignments in Lagos. This, Governor Fayemi says, will be cost-effective.
We also see the commissioning of this office as an opportunity to deepen our sub-regional engagements in the context of the development agenda for Western Nigeria. Lagos is not only a key market for our products, it is also our window to the outside world.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, accompanied to the venue by his Niger State counterpart, Alhaji Abubakar Sani Bello, said this initiative of Governor Fayemi will improve Ekiti State's gross domestic product and the quality of lives of the citizens.
When we all work together, understanding that we all have different skills, we all have different strengths, and push more of our strength so that our region, our states, and our country can indeed be on a path of growth and development.
The newly inaugurated liaison office is expected to serve as a go-to place for both indigenes and non-indigenes that require official services and information from the Ekiti State government, as well as project the state in positive light to the world. In Lagos, Imole Ayo Tokede, Ogunfowora, NTA News.
Mental health affects a person's overall lifestyle and development, which is why experts recommend that adequate attention be given to it. In this report, Ngino John Adams examines the scope of mental health illness in Nigeria.
Mental health is a combination of an individual's emotional, psychological, and social well-being, all of which have direct impact on how a person thinks, feels, and acts. As important as mental health is, data by the World Health Organization reveal that 1 in 4 Nigerians, that is 50 million people, are suffering from some forms of mental health disorders.
When you tell people, go and see a psychiatrist, they say over my dead body, because their image is somebody on the road wearing tattered clothes.
Mental illnesses can manifest in various forms. They include depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, dementia, and schizophrenia. Each presents unique symptoms.
When somebody starts feeling low, no zeal for life, no energy level, maybe having the stress factor, maybe relationship issue, or academic performance challenges.
In some cases, challenges that accompany mental health disorders can be grave, and support from family members and the public is crucial for management or recovery.
If the mind is filled up, is clogged up, then naturally the brain would not do the work that it's supposed to do. And then when it's not doing the work that it's supposed to do, it clogs up your heart. And then, of course, once the heart is clogged up, you understand it basically affects the whole body, and illnesses come from there.
Medical experts agree that more awareness will help families and societies surmount the challenges of mental health disorders holistically. In Lagos, Ngino John Adams, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's take a short break now. The news continues with Ogochukwuka Ona in Benin Network Center.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Now, Ekiti State government says the mental health law in the state is targeted at reducing mental health issues and cater for persons with mental health challenges. The State Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Yebanji Filani, at a forum in Ado-Ekiti, said the law will be adequately implemented in the interest of all and sundry. Ayodeji Ogunshaki reports.
In a world where there are scores of discouraging factors causing unrest and apprehension, there is bound to be increase in cases of depression and mental health challenges, as the world statistics show that 1 out of 4 persons has mental health challenge occasioned by those societal factors.
Somebody may have mental health challenges, but it becomes a disorder when it has now started to affect your performance.
Having an enabling law that will cater for those with mental health challenges and make them have adequate health care became imperative.
We now have the capacity first to be able to prevent, do the necessary promotions, but also where necessary to treat. Because you may not necessarily go into the treatment, but even if you have a checklist.
It also aims to ensure that people living with mental health disorders are afforded the needed protection and care from the consequences of mental illness.
Stakeholders in the health sectors emphasize that everyone should be conscious of those who need mental health assistance, while there should be adequate awareness on the factors constituting mental health challenges and the windows of opportunities to address such. From Ado-Ekiti, Ayodeji Ogunshaki, NTA News.
And now, security operatives of the Edo State Police Command have in its custody a 20-year-old man, Yakubu Idris, for allegedly threatening to kidnap the chairman of the Hausa community in Edo State, Alhaji Badamasi Saleh. Goodluck 9 reports that the suspect, who claimed to be a dismissed soldier and member of the kidnapping gang in Benin, Gwari, Kaduna State, was arrested in Kano.
The victim, Alhaji Badamasi Saleh, says he first met the suspect in Benin to assist him to be reinstated to the army. It was after that encounter that he started to receive threat calls. Hence, he petitioned the police. In the threat message, The suspect claimed he is a member of a kidnapping gang living in Birnin-Gwari Bush in Kaduna State with his gang members, and that he was paid 1 million naira by someone close to the victim to kidnap him.
He said I should look for 1 million. If I look for 1 million, send for him, then he can be able to, convince them and go back based on the good I do to them. I said, but I don't have 1 million. Before I know it, he was arrested in Kano.
On receipt of the complaint, the police swung into action and arrested the suspect in his hideout in Kano State. Further investigations by the police revealed that the suspect was someone the victim had assisted in the past while in Benin. The suspect confessed to the crime.
Mistake, the word is a mistake.
Yakubu Idris, based on investigation, we were able to discover that he is the trained but dismissed soldier. Today he has involved himself in threat to kidnap a lot of people. He has confessed to it. If there are other gang members playing along with him, the police will do everything within the ambit of the law to ensure that they are being brought to book and face the full wrath of the law.
The suspect is to be charged to court after investigations have been concluded. In Benin, Goodluck Enaini, NTA News.
The next set of reports will be coming from Abuja. Ayodeji is back to you.
Thanks, Ogochukwuka in our Benin Network Center. Back here in Abuja, conversations at the ongoing 27th Nigerian Economic Summit have given credence to the national strategy on public service reforms, where the federal government is using information technology for change, innovation, and effective service delivery for national development. Benny Adams has the details.
At the sidelines of conversations on urgency and audacity of public sector reform, driving change and accountability, the use of information and communications technology with the aim of improving information and service delivery, encouraging citizen participation in the decision-making process, and making government more accountable, transparent, and effective were brought to the fore.
There is no hiding place for anybody managing government resources at this time. We have done this. We have translated from due process in managing procurement to online procurement. You can sit down from the comfort of your house and pay your tax, collect your tax clearance certificates. This is digitalization. We have agencies of government that are rendering some of the best services in the world now.
Because of the view that to build on successes being recorded in public finance management and other reforms in the public sector, the need to support the e-governance master plan of the federal government becomes urgent. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Moving on to a bit of bilateral agreements, a naval ship carrying 12 Marines from the Royal British Navy has arrived in Lagos as part of their 3-month deployment to shore up security in the Gulf of Guinea. A statement by the Public Affairs Officer of the British Foreign and Commonwealth Office, Amaka Eze, indicates that the Deputy UK High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ben Lolin-Jones, anchors the partnership on enhancing the security and prosperity of Nigeria and the wider West African sub-region, addressing illegal activities through multi-agency cooperation. In line with this, the delegation will attend a maritime security conference at the Nigerian Institute for International Affairs and engage in joint security exercises with partners in the region. The Nigeria-Brazil Aviation and Defense Trade Forum is holding in Abuja to promote opportunities in the aviation and defense sectors. Francis Form reports that the forum is also expected to boost the ongoing fight against terrorism in the country.
The Nigerian armed forces have been fighting terrorism and counter-insurgency in some parts of the country, and Brazil has remained one of the leading countries in the manufacturing of military equipment. This forum is an opportunity for the Nigerian Air Force to partner with Brazil aircraft manufacturers in the area of training and retraining of Air Force personnel, especially now that the Nigerian Air Force acquired Super Tucano fighter aircraft.
The next area that we can partner with Brazil is supply of spare parts for the maintenance of our aircraft and other ground support equipment.
If there is a partner who is into the production of marine meteorological equipment, he is welcome with open arms. And this is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
As parliamentarians, we really want to strengthen that relationship, not only in areas of capacity building, but even technology transfer and incubation, and also cut some of those bureaucratic bottlenecks.
Our intention is, of course, to strengthen this bilateral cooperation with Nigeria in the next few months.
Beyond military ties, Nigeria and Brazil also have cultural and economic affiliations. Franks is from NTA News.
Nigeria and Indonesia are beginning to tinker with their previous partnerships in many areas of cooperation, including trade, reciprocal promotion and protection of investments, agriculture, as well as gas. Nigeria's ambassador to Indonesia, Usman Arioga, who presented his letter of credence to President Joko Widodo in Jakarta alongside other envoys, said the present global economic realities and renewed efforts of Nigerian government on diversification, the two countries need each other.
Indonesia have come a long way over 4 decades of relationship. There's no doubt that the pandemic has affected relations in so many ways, but it can always be better as time progresses.
Nigeria and Indonesia signed many bilateral agreements in the past, including anti-corruption in 2007 and countering of illicit drugs. Anti-coup protesters on Tuesday returned to the streets of Sudan's capital, Khartoum, for a second consecutive day despite a violent response by security forces. Sources at the health ministry told newsmen that about 7 people were killed on Monday, while the military also cut off access to the internet and closed some roads, bridges, and the airport in Khartoum. The coup drew widespread international condemnation and demands for the release of everyone detained. The United Nations Security Council is expected to discuss the situation behind closed doors later on Tuesday. Army General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan had announced a state of emergency across the country while dissolving the country's transitional authorities. Let's go over now to our Enugu Network Center, where Mina is our next guide on Nationwide. It's over to you, Mina.
Hello, Ayodeji. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. Top on priorities of government at all levels currently in Nigeria is security. The level of insecurity that is ravaging certain parts of the country has become a source of worry. Chineye Nwoye in this report holistically looks at security and the issues surrounding it, as well as possible ways out.
The issue of security has taken a center stage in Nigeria. The concept of security remains a complex phenomenon that unarguably require countermeasures to deal with. Insecurity is a social malaise that affects all citizens of a country. Government at all levels, as well as security agents, are battling to improve the security situation in the country, and they believe that their work will be easier with the cooperation of all citizens through the adoption of security measures, especially in their homes and business places.
The major yardstick of effective security is this sense of observation, not just by security personnel, but by every member of society. If you stay in a place, in a compound, you don't even know who your next door neighbor is. I would say this without mincing words, that security strictly has to do with knowing the person next to you.
When you come out, you want to know what is happening around your neighbor, all right? And if they have challenges, certainly because there's peace, you want to really contribute the much you can to make sure to enhance that further.
Doors and windows are the most common entry points for burglars, and research has shown that 34% of burglars stroll in through the front door. hence the need to make sure that all exterior doors are strong. Trees and shrubs may also give a house shade, but they also give burglars a handy place to hide, and respondents have suggested trimming them down to eliminate hiding places. In the event that someone gets by other home security strategies, getting a home safe, experts say, is a sure depository for all vital documents. In Enugu, Chinenwoye, NTA News.
Ahead of the November 6 governorship election in Anambra State, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has organized a one-day workshop to train journalists on seamless elections through its innovations, especially the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAs. Ngozi Okekara reports that the trained journalists, through their reportage, are to sensitize eligible voters.
The workshop, which aims to educate journalists in Anambra State on the innovations deployed by INEC for the conduct of November 6 governorship election and proper education of voters for a seamless process, had in attendance journalists drawn from all media houses in the state. Director of Publicity, INEC Headquarters, Victor Aluko, speaks on the aims and objectives. Head of Department ICT, INEC Headquarters, Emeka Nnaji, also made presentation on the workings of the technological innovations, including the bimodal voter authentication system, BVAS, from voter accreditation to voting and electronic transmission of results. The workshop also featured an interactive session where journalists asked relevant questions.
It has exposed to me a lot of innovations being introduced by INEC for the conduct of this election, and the application of these innovations will help me a lot in the reportage of my stories.
Journalists, as purveyors of information and stakeholders at the end of the workshop, are expected to use their various mediums to educate voters through their news reportage and programs to help the Commission achieve its objectives. In Oka, Ngozi Okekaro, NTA News.
And that's a bit from here. It's back to Ayo for the rest of Nationwide.
Thank you, Mina, in our Enugu Network Center. Still on the Anambra State election, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has overhauled the security landscape in the state ahead of the November 6 governorship election. A statement by the force indicates that overhauling include the deployment of Deputy Inspector General of Police Joseph Igbunike. DIG Igbunike is to be assisted by the DIG in charge of operations, Acting DIG Zaki Ahmed. Other strategic commanders deployed to the state include 5 Assistant Inspectors General of Police, 14 Commissioners of Police, 31 Deputy Commissioners of Police, and 48 Assistant Commissioners of Police. The statement further explains that the senior officers are to coordinate human and other operational deployments in the 3 senatorial districts, 21 local government areas, and 5,720 polling units in the state. Meanwhile, the IGP calls on citizens in Anambra State to come out en masse and exercise their franchise, as adequate security has been put in place to protect them before, during, and after the elections. The Nigerian Bar Association has been urged to use the law to advance the values, aspirations, and progress of the nation. This was the submission of speakers at the opening ceremony of the 2021 61st Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association holding in Port Harcourt.
It is the 61st Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA. Chief Justice of the Federation, Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, represented by Justice Mary Odle, says the theme of the conference is a call to action by members of the association to be reawakened to the true character of the bar.
I am of the firm belief that the conference is a call to remind you all of your respective roles in carrying on the heritage that was bequeathed to you from the leading fathers of this profession.
Taking the lead, therefore, is to transform and reform the NBA to an activist association, willing and ready to use the law to advance the values and aspirations of our profession.
We are making progress, and the future lies in our commitment to democracy.
There can be no meaningful development of the laws of this country without the active and progressive collaboration between the bar and the lawmakers.
Taking the lead, which is to serve as a call to action, to take up the challenge, rise to the occasion, and provide this country with effective and quality leadership.
The association is optimistic that at the end of the conference, solutions will be proffered to the many socio-economic and political challenges confronting the country. In Port Harcourt, Oge Dinyekwe, NTA News.
In the build-up to the 2022 electioneering and 2023 elections, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, has again cautioned the judiciary against the misuse of court orders, which may send confusion into the polity. He gave the warning at the swearing-in of the substantive Chief Judge of the FCT High Court. Femi Okeowo has the story.
Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf is the second Chief Judge to be sworn in to preside over the affairs of the FCT High Court this year alone. The previous one, Justice Salisu Garuba, had a short tenure, and with his appointment as the administrator of the National Judicial Institute, paved way for this appointment, which will now lead the FCT High Court into the critical season of 2022 and 2023. Chief Justice of Nigeria therefore used the occasion of his swearing-in to admonish him in his capacity as a head of court and other judicial officers to be conscious of politicians and lawyers who might want to pursue personal ambition at the expense of the sanctity of the law.
We must not only do self-assessment, we also need self-cleansing. All hands, therefore, must be on deck from both the bar and the bench to rid the legal profession of bad acts.
Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf promised that the FCT High Court will strive to live above board.
We have a good role to play, a big one, in the election process. We will ensure that our people do not be a catalyst for confusion. They do not be a catalyst for disorderliness and all the rest of them. So we're taking on our people and they understand what to do.
In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Amina is next on Nationwide and she'll be bringing us stories from our Kaduna Network Center. Over to you, Amina.
Deji, welcome to Kaduna. Be ruthless to drug barons and cartels. These are the words of Chairman National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, at the passing out of more than 100 personnel trained by the Nigerian Army School of Infantry, Jaji. Suleiman Abdullahi Rugachikun has more.
143 strike force personnel of the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency trained on requisite skills of special operations.
The activities of drug barons have contributed and increased the threats of global peace and security to which Nigeria is not immune.
The growing trend of criminality and other security challenges that are sometimes related to substance abuse informed the training.
We need to be prepared to face up to the challenge. We will equip the SF and then provide them with fighting capabilities. We will strive to be at least 2 steps ahead of the drug barons and cartels.
Now better trained on weapon handling and crime detection, the personnel will be deployed to locations where Indian hemp is cultivated, urban centers, workplaces, and dry lands to check the abuse of illicit substances. Suleiman Abdullahi Rugachikun, NTA News.
The success of agricultural transformation agenda of the present administration lies on the support and cooperation of all stakeholders. Chairman House Committee on Agricultural Colleges, Munir Baba Dang Agundi, made the assertion during an oversight on the institutions in Kano. Awal Salisu reports.
The committee was at the Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, Kano, to inspect the ongoing projects at permanent and temporary sites of the institution. This is to give the committee first-hand information on how money appropriated to the college was expended and also to assess other needs as the nation prepares for another fiscal year.
From my own assessment and my colleagues, I think the college has done well in terms of the execution of the projects, and we want to encourage them to do more. And I have seen also the quality of the work done by the contractors. I think it's something that we commend them to continue to do their best.
They have seen doses that we need to make the school move forward, and they have promised us to assist us one way or the other.
Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, Kano, is undergoing a multi-million naira facelift with a view to making teaching and learning efficient. Apart from renovation of existing structures, government has also constructed an information technology center to make the college go in tune with modernity. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Nationwide continues after the break.
Thanks for rejoining us. FCT Police Commissioner Babaji Sunday says the ongoing forward operative of the command and other traffic management agencies will intensify enforcement of the laws against pedestrians who are in the habit of crossing expressways without recourse to the use of pedestrian bridges. He made the disclosure after leading an assessment tour of the situation to Lugbe along the airport road in Abuja. Eliasu Onotu Yakubu reports.
Images such as these are common sights on the airport and Kubwa AYA Expressway, amongst others, in the FCT. Recalcitrant pedestrians crossing the road meters away from pedestrian bridges, but prefer to risk their lives as against the use of safety apparatus which government have invested in the pedestrian bridges. This has led to wanton loss of lives, and the development is one which the FCT police and other concerned stakeholders say will no longer be tolerated.
We have been receiving complaints about this airport road, which is the gateway to the capital city, that people don't go to work on other of their businesses in good time because of people disobeying the traffic. And that is why we are here. You can see us. And you know, anything in the FCT, we work in synergy. That is why we are here to put our men, to up their games and ensure it doesn't happen again.
A handful of the violators were caught right in the act, and on a subtle phase, the team sensitized and cautioned them against repeat of the offense, as the team will commence arrest of offenders in the coming days. Iliasu Onutu Yakubu, NTA News.
Information dissemination is key to dispel rumors and fake news surrounding COVID-19 vaccination. To this end, the Nigerian Red Cross Society took to the streets of Abuja on a sensitization road walk to encourage Nigerians to access the COVID-19 vaccination. Ngozi Silva Technico reports.
Energetic looking and set for a tasking humanitarian job, about 800,000. They are members of the Red Cross Society in different locations across Nigeria, pushing for a change of perception for those skeptical about taking the COVID-19 vaccination and other vaccination exercises against killer diseases. Walking for miles with placards to drive home their message and stopping at strategic locations for an enlightenment talks.
That I do think that all of us, those who believe that this is the right thing to do, need to come out and speak about it and to convince our peers to do that. Because unless everybody believes so, we are not going to get the target that we want to achieve.
Prevention is better than cure. So what I want to say is that this is already a predictable kind of situation now. We are already aware that COVID-19 is real, and it's important that people take the necessary steps and efforts to prevent them from actually catching this dreaded disease.
Red Cross Society, with majorly volunteers, is complementing government efforts in ensuring Nigeria is a COVID-19 free country. Ngozi Silva, Technical, NTA News.
And that's nationwide this Tuesday. We thank you for watching. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Before we go, remember to connect with the NTA and stand against rape and rapists. Good evening.